Hey fam, hope you're doing great. I'm doing good. So, guess what? We're continuing our reading of Hamza Yusuf's book, Patreon requested book. It's been quite entertaining. Let's continue. We're on page 22. We were dealing with the topic of inequity. Somewhere on earth, there is a door reserved for each soul. And one day, each of us will walk through that door, never to return to this life again. Where that door is and when we will walk through it are unknown that we must live with and prepare for. Well, that's quite deep, right? Upon death, suddenly all of this world and all of its charms and occupations will become as if it were all a dream. And he gives a quote from the Quran. And you will think that you tarried on earth only for a short while. Quran 1752. It's helpful for us to remember that, right? It's helpful for us to remember that. Even those who are spiritually blind will see in the new order of existence the ultimate truth about God. So he writes that in a beautiful way. So spiritually blind. So atheists would say, well, we're materialists, so we don't want you to call us blind because that means we're disabled or we have a disability, and then defaultly puts you above us. You can't do that, they would argue. But I like how he says it in a way that's approachable. So, the ultimate truth about God, contending his existence and magnificence thereof, and our purpose as his creation. And when we climb out of our graves for the mighty gathering in the hereafter, it will be seem to us that we had stayed in our graves for only a day or part of a day. As the Quran states, 10:45. When one is confronted with eternity and its ironclad reality, this world will seem like the most ephemeral of existences. So when we confront eternity, one way I like to do that is with space. So that's why it's good to go stare up at the sky sometimes. Because it's out there and you don't know where it ends, and you're not going to have a jetpack to be able to fly up there and see. And you need to use the restroom and you got things to do, right? You couldn't just fly on for eternity into space. But it is quite astounding that when you begin to think about it, you wonder. Now this one is Love of the World, poems 43 through 53. Realize also that blameworthy love of this world is what is solely for the benefit of the self. Okay, so the benefit of the self is pretty much a worldly vice. If it's blameworthy, okay? It does not include desiring it so that others are not burdened by your needs, and so that you are secure from dependence upon other people. Nor does it include desiring it as provision for the next world. So wow, imagine wanting something that you even wanted. Even then, wow. Indeed, love of this world falls under the 5 categories of legal rulings, such that its acceptability or detriment is based on what it helps one to achieve. So, the legal framework is it acceptable? Does it deter you from something? And what is its aim? Both practical questions to ponder if you want to see a legal ruling on it or take it apart. If the love of something of this world is for the purpose of helping one achieve something prohibited, then it is also prohibited. As such, censoring the world is only for those things that do not advance one's salvation. Okay, so censoring the world, you have to think about how you advance in your salvation. Thus, for these reasons, censoring is restricted to its ardent love. Indeed, the best of creation, the Prophet, peace be upon him, prohibited cursing the world. So don't curse the world. Things are praised or censored only by virtue of what results from them, like healing or disease. Therefore, what is obtained for one's physical necessities by means of wealth or worldly position is beneficial. Well, that's interesting. praised or censored by virtue of what results from them. What are the results? Still, some scholars scorn the accumulation of great wealth, fearing the risk of transgressing the bounds of permissibility. People, it's hard because it attracts and radiates, pulsates all that wealth and all that energy sector just right there, and it can almost have an energy of its own that people who have it just takes over them. I mean, that's what greed is. That's what the power of money does to people. I mean, whew. I get it, like, you want to have some basic necessities, and it's nice, like for me, example, if I could have my own giant castle with, a bunch of rooms, even if no one was in them, I would still want it, right? But that would just be me. Some people want a small hut. I could have a small cabin, right? But it's like, if the option is there, would you do it? And that's kind of like what wealth does to people. It's like, can you do it? And permissibility is like, well, if it's just a simple hobby, like you like to go boating with a nice sailboat, and you spent some nice money on a sailboat, right? They got, some wealth and decided to spend it on a boat. So that's interesting if you think about it. But what are you gonna do? It's a test, because some people get absorbed with it still. One who earns wealth for the purpose of vainglorious competition is reckoned as among those who perpetrate enormities. Oh, okay, so vainglorious, just for the glory? Well, that'd be like a gladiator, right? A gladiator. I mean, wait. They can earn some wealth, they can earn their freedom, but they won't be as, rich as some of the noble aristocrats that lived back then. But gladiators, some of them for sure probably enjoyed it in the end. And the places that trained their gladiators, or made money off of them, are probably very proud. Now, there's vainglorious expressions in other parts of history, but that one was just very interesting to me. So I'm sure we can find vainglorious examples all throughout history in various cultures, but sometimes you do need some competition so that there is some heroic moments in life. Without the vainglorious, how do we get some remarkable instances sometimes? But I get it. He has a point, right? The pageantry, though, can be nice just once in a blue moon. Love of the world. Love of praise for what one has not accomplished is caused by desiring other than God the exalted. Definition and treatment. Okay, interesting. So you cannot have love of what you have not accomplished, and you should only desire God the exalted. An Islamic tradition attributed to Jesus, peace be upon him, states, "The world is a bridge, so pass over it to the next world, but do not try to build on it." Oh, somebody said that in the comment section once on a live stream. Now I know where they got it from. Love of this world is considered blameworthy, though this does not include wanting things of this world in order to be free from burdening others with one's needs. Yeah, so I get it, right? So if you want to have a car, right, you don't want to have to not have a car so that you always have to bother other people to give you a ride. I get it, right? But if there's a difference between buying a bucket to get from point A to B, and then taking out a massive loan to buy a Ferrari that you can't afford, nor, really use and enjoy. Nor does it include desiring provision from the world for the purpose of attaining the best in the hereafter. Okay, so you can't just get it just for doing it for the reward that you think you'll get later. Interesting. The 5 categories of classical legal rulings determine how love, of something worldly is viewed, depending on the intentions of the person. The love of this world can either be obligatory, wajib. Okay, so wajib is obligatory. Recommended, mandub. Wow, these are important terms. Permissible, mubah. Reprehensible, makruh. Oh, makruh, I recognize them from that word, from the Talimuhaq. Or forbidden, haram. Yeah, I think everybody knows the haram word. Haram. Yeah, that's like, no, can't do that one. Okay, so those are the 5 categories of the law. Very cool.